I don't think we should be structuring legal rules that take as their presumption, their predicate assumption that people should not be empowered to find out if they want to. I mean, I think mandating we are going to send you priority mail that says, here's the name of your donor. We don't necessarily have to do that. But I think, and again, I haven't studied the Colorado law in detail, but I think the premise of open donation that's been explained to me, because again, even though I'm in politics, I'm a lawyer, this field, the fertility and reproductive medicine fields are pretty new to me in terms of all these conversations. But what's been explained to me is a person, when they reach the age of adulthood, should have the ability to go get the information. That seems to be the bedrock principle. And that doesn't mean a right to go get lunch. It doesn't mean a right to a Christmas card. It means, or a Hanukkah card, as it were, depending on how your results come back. It's a right to know without being any more specific about legislation in any state. I just think that's the bedrock principle, and the one that, when Danny and I go to conferences, we try to sing the song of open donation. Yeah, because it's something that I guess the literature, as it's been explained to me, is already there to show that there's really no question that open donation is best for everybody. But that doesn't mean that the concept is so well socialized to the field that people are integrating it seamlessly into their consultations. And that seems to be, as it's been explained to me, where we're at in history. And so I see my role as, from a policy standpoint, before you even get into the brass tacks of what should go in the law, it seems like we've got a whole lot of work to do in the reproductive medicine fertility fields to just catch up to the widespread acceptance of the notion that this should be part of it. And then once it is, and this is often how policymaking works and why you got to put the horse in front of the cart, once the field itself has its private internal awareness of what best practices are and what should be happening, then it's often the practitioners themselves that propose their own regulations. And they come to their state houses across the country and say, this is what has worked in practice. This is now the consensus based on the literature. And we'd like for you to codify something into law that, keeps the bad actors or the bad apples from doing this without the bare minimum. That's usually how this type of thing goes, because it's a political will thing. You don't want to pass a law on something before the broad consensus of the field has already kind of gotten there, because setting that coercive boundary is really the last step. So there's your political philosophy for me for the day. But I see myself as an agent of building that awareness as part of these conversations with Danny, so that we can get to the point where those laws can have some teeth.
But Danny, you don't think, though, that the majority of the people now in this field, I mean, there's a lot of us, but I think that the majority of the people in this field are starting to see the importance of having open donation, or at least having the ability to have it opened for people who want it?
So I think the ability to have it, you'd find wide support for that. Mandated disclosure, there's resistance. And I saw it at our meeting this past week, that I sat on a panel discussing exactly this. My story was shared. And there were two physicians who I very much respect who made very sound arguments for no, don't disclose. Now, when you talk to them privately, it's because they got the con in the debate, that they've made it sound strident. They actually agree that for people who want it, they should definitely have it. But there are health reasons, there are mental health reasons why access to the donor before a child becomes an adult would be a benefit. The psych testing, it's valid for 2 years. But if a donor goes off the rails 4 years after he or she donates, it's got a genetic basis. The donor-conceived offspring starts showing signs of that diagnosis, bipolar, God knows what it could be.
Right.
It would be beneficial to everybody to have access to that record long before that kid became an adult, so that the parents can appropriately take care of that kid. There's a lot still to learn about this, and I don't really know where the line should be. But I would say a lot of people in our field are still resistant, very much so. I think over time that's going to erode. But it ain't gone. And I saw it this past weekend. It ain't gone.
Well, but I also think it's not gone depending on where the person is. How long have you been in this space versus how recent you got into the space, and where, how you've come into this space. Older reproductive endocrinologists or older individuals that have been in this space for a very long time, who have also had been in it more so of the anonymity, the things that need to be hidden, all of them, yes, I would say a lot of them are probably going to be, no, let's not disclose.
That's right.
And I get it. I completely understand. But at the same time, we are shifting as a society. Everything is shifting as a society. And we can't be stuck in this space that we've been in, because as we can see, all of these children that have been born from the technology that's been created and evolving over the years, technology is evolving, then surely the mindset and the thoughts and how we're moving and progressing in the space has to evolve.
What you just said is exactly right. And that's what I saw, is the Altacockers at the meeting were like, really? Really? And the younger people were like, what's the big deal?